Hello everyone, this is Fantasy-esque and welcome back to Lakeburg Legacies. When we left off in the previous episode, we welcomed in a prankster and her hunter husband. So Oriana Payne over here has entered Lakeburg. She is 26 years old and she's married to Crispin, who is 27. So yeah, we haven't had anyone in the prank shop ever since Valerius died. So I think the Kingdom of Lakeburg is quite excited to kick up the pranks and the amusements. People have been on the cusp of being bored, and that I think is affecting them a little bit in their work. So hopefully Oriana settles in quite well, although I am going to keep an eye on her because she is not that far from Randall, who has already had a few run-ins with some of the other guys in town. But there has been a history of the pleasure house and the prank shop kind of tangling a little bit in the past. So yeah, keep an eye on that. And then Crispin, he's our second hunter to come in. One by one, our hunters are being knocked off. They are dying, succumbing to the various issues of Lakeburg. And Eldrick was kind of carrying everything on just by himself. And I was just talking about our man of the evening, Randall, having a few run-ins with some of the men in town. The man in question was Eldrick. Yeah, they had an almost shotgun marriage, but then they didn't. They just ended up becoming one-time drinking buddies. So Crispin, hopefully he is able to settle in quite well. In terms of things that we need to address right now, Helios, guys. Helios has been in a very precarious job for a long time. He works at the rodent's nest as a rat trainer. And because of our population, this is the second time he's kind of been let go by the kingdom from his job because the rodents have suddenly decreased. And then now they have suddenly increased, so they're calling him back. But that's basically Helios's life, living at the beck and call of the rat nest. So he is going to work alongside Oliver, continue to do what he needs to do. And now we are going to get time going. We are in the year 50, 20 March. Guys, it has been 50 years in Lakeburg. This is officially the longest I have ever played in Lakeburg. It is very fascinating to see what direction we're kind of going in. But okay, let's continue and see what everyone gets up to. Oh, oh no, Beatrice, guys. Beatrice, one of our lumberjacks, has finally died. Beatrice Olwyn at 75 years old. This is the oldest I have ever had any of my villagers live up to. 75 years old. In fact, can you guys let me know, if you have played, what's the longest a villager has lived in your game? Because this is the longest I have ever seen across any of my save files. But Beatrice, and so goes the most beautiful woman in Lakeburg, according to Lakeburg standards. And I don't think, and then her son, who inherited her beauty, also died very, very early on. So literally, we don't have anyone who is considered ugly in Lakeburg, and we don't have anyone who's considered beautiful in Lakeburg anymore. She took it with her. Now we have a bit of a vacancy in the Lumberjacks Lodge. Let's see, Eldrick and Godric are feeling disgusted. Weren't they friends? In the last episode, they were literally hanging out in the square, in the town square. They were hanging out with the forges, the hospital, and the building site, and they were getting along. So I'm imagining that they're talking about something and getting disgusted. Who knows, maybe over a joint joke. I'm gonna assume that they're bonding, that this is a bond that's happening between him, and because they get along with each other. So that does make sense. Okay, we can barter apparently. So, oh heckin', take our iron and give me that gold. Yes please, take the iron, give me the gold. We need the gold, in fact. The gold is very important because we use it for a ton of things. Let's go ahead and continue without time, see what else is happening in town. Oh, nice. Okay, also in the last episode, yeah, Wolfgang's father, Eldrick, the guy we were just talking about, he remarried and kind of abandoned Wolfgang, so Wolfgang is like an orphan. But I feel like Wolfgang, he has the type of personality, because he has a really good relationship with his father, who would be like, you know what, Dad, you go look after yourself. I think I need some life experience, because I always see Wolfgang as someone who doesn't kind of think the normal way of thinking. Like his childhood sweetheart, Calanth, she's the one who's always more realistic with what she needs to do, and she's always, you know, yelling at him to be more realistic. But Wolfgang, he's never really cared. He's always kind of forged his own path, and I feel like he would have encouraged his dad to think for himself and been like, you know what, it's fine. I'm almost an adult. Don't worry about me. I'm just gonna figure out what I'm gonna do in life, get some life experience, you know, shake myself up a bit. I feel like that's Wolfgang. So he's only been on the streets for 1 year, and at 16 years old, he is being adopted by the new couple in town, Oriana and Crispin, which makes me very, very happy. This is actually very kind of them, because I think they do want children, but they only have to look after Wolfgang for 2 years before he moves out, and then they can still have, you know, their own biological child. I feel like this is very kind of them. So okay, they are going to adopt him into their family, which I love, and apparently Randall and Eloise are divorcing. Eloise, who is 38 years old at this point, and Randall is 21. Okay, well, they have divorced. Let's take a look to see what's happening in town. Okay, Eloise, you only have history with who? She only has history with, well, 2 of her husbands have died, ex-husbands, Chris and Lucius, but Oliver and Randall. So she doesn't have history with Hubert or Brian, but I think she's going to ask Brian out on a date, because he's kind of close to her age. So our baker, yeah, she's going to ask Brian. He is like 34, only 4 years younger than her. Let's see how that goes. Not Hubert, Brian. Okay. It's bad. It's a bad affinity because of the heartbreak on both sides. But let's see how this goes. Okay, so starting off at the tavern, we could say no cuddles before the 3rd date, or everyone knows that big muscles imply a small brain. We'll insult the muscles. Brian swaggers to express his disagreement. Okay, we're at the hill by moonlight. You could ask if the cards provided Brian insight into their future, or make fun of people who are interested in fashion. We're gonna go for the fashion. This world is way too superficial for Brian. Nobody even knows how to dress in the morning anymore. And they're in a loveless marriage just like that. Okay, well, we'll see how this goes, but I think this is Eloise's 5th marriage. I mean, it's a lot, but you know what? We have had others in town who have been through even more marriages. Like, this is Eloise's 5th marriage, but one of her ex-husbands, Oliver, is currently in his 7th marriage. Like, he has 6 ex-wives, and Effie is his 7th wife, so you know. People, and like, he's 41 right now. But I'm pretty sure he reached the 7th wife in his 30s. So, yeah, they're people who are quite ambitious relationship-wise. They're men who are very, very desperate, you know? Okay, let's keep going, See what else is, like, happening in town. Oh no, someone's offended. Someone's not doing too well. Ilana and Achille are getting divorced. They just got together not too long ago. I guess that didn't work out. Okay, hold on. So Brynja and Malus, actually, where are they? Brynja and Malus, they are like sworn enemies at this point, or are they just rivals? Basically, they don't like each other. They do not like each other. They are sworn enemies. Yeah, they absolutely despise each other. So I could kind of see why they're offended, that they probably had to breathe the same air and took a break at the same time. And then we have Wolfgang and Oriana, who just met and seem as though they're about to become friends. I think Oriana is the one who just adopted him recently. So that's his adoptive mother. Yeah, Wolfgang and Oriana. I mean, she's 33, he's 16. I kind of like the fact that Wolfgang, you know, is maybe becoming fond of his adoptive mother. I think that is actually very nice and very sweet. Okay, let's go ahead, and I think it's nice that the Payne family is giving him some stability. Okay, Alana, you only have history at this point with Brian and with Achille. You don't have any history with Hubert or Randall. She is maybe going to go for someone who is a bit more mature, because some of the other guys she's gone for have been younger and it hasn't worked out. So Alana is actually going to ask Hubert out on a date, and they have a huge age gap. She's 25, he's 66. But yeah, she's going to ask him out on a date. We'll see how that goes. And they did have some matches here. Even though they have awful affinity because of the heartbreak, they have some of these matches. So, you know, they agree on dueling and music. So let's get these guys going and see how that works out. We'll start off at the inn. We could say gossips are a plague on any civilized society. We'll talk about favorite songs. We're going to talk about the songs. Hubert isn't too fussed about music. What's important is when there are bards, there is usually beer. Okay, not a good start. And then at the Hill by Moonlight, we could say that the display of food was disgusting at the banquet, or talk about cuddles. We're going to talk about cuddles. Hubert's embarrassment regarding this topic makes Alana feel more embarrassed. Okay, this is very embarrassing. It's not going to work out. It's very obvious that the age gap between them is way too huge, and Alana is starting to feel a little bit more like too conscious around Hubert. And I think Hubert feels too conscious around the fact that he's a farmer and she's a chancellor. And that leaves our man of the evening, Randall, who's very close in age to her. He's only like 3 years younger. They have awful affinity, and it doesn't seem as though their affinity is actually at 0%. With Hubert, it was 3. But, you know, it doesn't seem as though they agree on anything. They disagree on music and meditation. But let's see how this goes. Okay, we're starting off with a boat ride at the lake. We can say minstrels disturb the peace of the neighborhood, or talk about how there are too many fishermen. We'll go with the fishermen. It is almost impossible to swim without being pierced by discarded hooks. These pesky fishermen should think of other lake users. And then we're at the inn. We could accuse fat stray cats for the village's problems, or say flowers are pointless. We'll go with the flowers. Concerned about allergies, Randall will never let flowers enter his house. Okay, so even though they have awful, like, no affinity, it seems as though these two are kind of infatuated with each other. So they are going to get married. They are infatuated. We'll have to see how that works out. But this is kind of intriguing. It's like an unexpected partnership, you know? A very unexpected partnership. So, okay, where do we have... We don't have anyone who is, I think, staying in a house they shouldn't be staying at. Nope. Wait, no, Hubert is. Hubert is... Hubert, you're in the Everhart. Okay, you... Yeah. Hubert. You cannot have a house. You should actually be homeless. So there we go. He is homeless. He is homeless, but who's happy? Aside from the Payne family? The Coldwell family. Oh, Cecilia's aged up. Okay, where is the Coldwell family? They're over here. Okay, these two, I mean, they want a child, and Cecilia, I mean, they've got a while for Cecilia, but oh my goodness, she looks so pretty. Hold on a second. The children that have aged up. Althea has aged up. She's 12 years old now. Look at Althea. So she is the daughter of Chris and Eloise. She looks like a nice blend of her parents, I think. Look at her, she's kind of cute. But guys, Cecilia. Cecilia's so pretty. Hold on a second. She's the daughter of Nathan and Margaret. Guys, look at her. Look at her. How is she not... Honestly, I don't know how she doesn't have, like, she's not genetically beautiful, because she is so pretty. Like, my goodness. I did not expect that from her parents. Like, her parents were average looking, but she looks so good. I don't think we've had a prettier girl, like, born in the flippin' village before this point. She's stunning. She is flippin' stunning. Okay, well, that was very nice to know. That was very nice to see. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. See what else we get up to in town. Okay, we're chugging along. We're chugging along. And what is this? Someone's feeling confident. Nathan and Eloise. Look at these two. Nathan and Eloise. They get along very well. They work at the bakery together. And we know that they've had an excellent bond. They're lifelong friends at this point. You know what? I reckon that they are probably talking about how Nathan's daughter, Cecilia, because Cecilia is Nathan's daughter, she hasn't been living with her father for a long time, but maybe they're talking about how Cecilia is like so grown up now, and you know how she looks so beautiful, and I bet you Nathan's really proud about that and really confident about his daughter. And Eloise is probably really, really happy for him. And then also, Althea is Eloise's daughter, right? Where is she? Yeah, Althea is Eloise's daughter. You know what? They're probably talking about both their daughters growing up and feeling very proud of the fact that their children are, you know, getting along in life quite nicely. Okay, let's continue. And there goes Hubert. Out on the streets, guys. Out on the streets. He has died at 67 years old. And we just lost a farmer. How terrifying. Okay, Wolfgang and Oriana have become friends. Oh, I love this. I love that Wolfgang is bonding a lot with his adoptive mother, Oriana. And they have become friends. That is actually so, so sweet. That is so, so sweet. Okay, look, he's got an excellent relationship with his father. So I'm telling you, it's 82%. He probably told his father, you know what, you go. You do what you need to do. Dad, you do what you need to do. I'm just gonna find myself here. And he found his way into the Payne family's home. But I think, you know what, Wolfgang, because of how different he usually thinks, especially in terms of, you know, the conventional maybe careers we've had in Lakeburg, I feel like he would find the fact that Oriana is a prankster such like a cool thing. And he would love hanging out with her because of that, and maybe, you know, visiting her at the prank shop, quite frequently. I think that's really cool. And then I love that his relationship with Calanth is so good. It's at 67%. He's got a 57% relationship with Oriana. Very nice, very nice. And for some reason, he does not like Cecilia. He's got 37 with her. They've made a bad impression on each other. It doesn't matter. She's the most beautiful girl in town. Well, I can't say that. I find her the most beautiful girl in town, but she does not have the genetic markers that will make the people of Lakeburg acknowledge her beauty, guys. I find her pretty. You might find her pretty. The people of Lakeburg, she's nothing too impressive. Okay, well, let's keep going. The years are going on by. Oh, Gluttony. Okay, we have an event for Meliora and Helios, who are definitely not married because Helios is married to... I remember this. He's married to someone else. I cannot remember his wife's name, but I know for sure Meliora is not his wife. I can tell you that much, guys, because Helios and his wife, they recently adopted someone. Okay, willing to impress Helios, Meliora, the lumberjack, would like to participate in something important, an event that would show her at her best and showcase her quality. Has Helios been kicked out of his job again? I think so. Okay, well, Meliora, for whatever reason, wants to impress Helios. Okay, Lakeburg's biggest eater contest is the perfect opportunity to get noticed. Well, if you manage not to be sick, that is. If she doesn't participate, she's going to become shy and lose morale. But if she does participate, who knows what's going to happen. We'll let her participate. She's already come this far, you know? Meliora sat beside the other gluttons of Lakeburg and proceeded to gorge on everything in sight. Meliora ate and ate some more, going far beyond her usual limit, eventually winning the contest. However, after standing up to celebrate, her stomach audibly protested, and suddenly the crowd received a face full of barely digested spew. Unsurprisingly, Helios found the scene a bit nauseous. So now he's disgusted and she is joyful. But let me quickly go through, hold on a second, where is she? Where is she and he? There we go, Loreline. That's his wife. His wife is Loreline. I knew it. Meliora is the mother of Han, and she's married to Godric the Seamster. Okay. Well, guys, that aside, did anything else happen? Yes, Eloise and Oriana have met each other, and they have made a good impression. Okay, they've made a good impression, which is kind of nice. They might become friends in the future. It seems as though Oriana is settling in quite well, but I feel like we should now take a look at some of the folks that have been aging up over here. So we have Naya, who's now 6 years old, in the Brielle family. Okay, Naya, can we help you? She has a good relationship with both her parents, Sapphire and Walter, which is nice. She's got a better relationship with her father, though, at 69%. Oh, she wants to be a baker. Okay, wait, baker, huntress, fisherwoman. I love this child. She is so versatile. But okay. Baker, I don't know if we have... Actually, we do. We do. We have room in the bakery to train. I think recently it's mainly been like the seamsters workshop and the carpenters that have become popular. But you know what? Marie is going to take on Naya as an apprentice, and Marie's been working here a long time, so she'd probably have a lot to teach. She would have a lot to teach. Okay, so she has an awful affinity with Marie. It's like at 11%, but it's okay. You don't have to like Marie. She's like 71 years old. Oh my goodness. But you will learn a ton. You will learn a ton from Marie. Okay, so that is that. Let's check up on Effie. Effie, have you changed anything in life? No, she still wants to be a baker. We can't help her out there. Calanth, you still wants to be a seamstress or a carpenter. Yeah, we don't have anyone that can help train you, unfortunately. Everything is full. Everything is full right now, so we can't help you on that front. Helios is unemployed. He still wants to be a rat trainer, but you know what? We don't have a position at the rodent nest, but he can also be a carpenter. So I think this might actually be a permanent career change for Helios. He's been kind of back and forth in the rat nest for a long time, but he is finally going to become a carpenter. I think this is good for him. It's a stable job. It's kind of his calling in a lot of ways. And you know what? Yeah, he is going to take on Calanth as an apprentice as well. So that'll actually be really good, because Calanth is, what's her age right now? Calanth is, she's 17. She's only got 1 more year left of her apprenticeship. It would be nice for her to gain whatever skills she can at the carpenter's workshop. I do like that. Okay, Wolfgang, have you changed your mind on anything? No, being out on the streets has not changed his perspective in the slightest. Okay, Achille is homeless, and then Mabel is now 18 years old. Well, Mabel, you need a household of your own. So we'll go ahead and do that. You're going to live in this first district next to the Knapp family, the Nash family, and the Bonnet family. You're going to establish your own house. Look at her. She's a Korb. The Korb family name. This is the interesting thing about having like children passed on along different step parents and adoptive parents, is that sometimes when they're in other families, we'll like kind of lose a bloodline, but then when they establish their own homes, we get that bloodline back. So it's been a while since Colette Korb died, and since she died, we have not seen the Korb name. But now that Mabel is a young adult and she has established her own house, the Korb name has been like revived, which I kind of love. So Mabel, let's take a look at you, because I want to see who your parents are first off. She's friends with Emmerich. Actually, that's her father. Hold on a second. That is her father. Right, and then it was right, Colette. Emmerich and Colette. Well, she does not want to be anything from what we currently have, unfortunately. So she is going to remain unemployed. That is okay. If that is your wish, that is okay. Well, let's go ahead and... Ooh. Actually, we have Achille and we have Mabel. Achille is homeless right now. He doesn't have anyone to be with. But Mabel, she's kind of free right now. So you know what, guys? I don't think I'll do it this time around, but when we come back in the next episode, I think Achille is going to try his luck with Mabel and see if maybe he can pursue her and get off the streets as soon as possible. So okay guys, with that said and done, I am going to leave off here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all next time. Bye bye.